I said a hip, a hop, a hippie to the hip, hip hop, and you don't stop. Thank you for joining us at Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. I'm your host, Markia Butler.
The impact I want to give is this idea of strength. The idea that you have to be boisterous, or you have to be loud, or you have to be very forceful with getting recognized or getting looked at. And what I want to do and what I believe is happening is there's a shift in that strength and recognizing that you can be strong and be audacious and all of those things, but it's looking at the package. I'm after the perspective of the package, and that you can be sweet and you can be strong, and being weak is not weak. It's applied strength, knowing when to do it and where and how much pressure is necessary.
I would say it doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. You know, it's so many layers to MRKH to the point where you will feel defeated a lot of the time, but you just have to keep fighting. You know, support is really big with this journey. You know, find a community who, you know, definitely supports you. They can love on you, you know, pour into you because you cannot do this by yourself.
It's amazing how like, years ago making a dance song was just deemed so corny in the music business. Oh, it's just a dance song. And now we have the most commanding platform on earth. So now, you know, it's funny just to watch the same people who was talking that kind of stuff, like trying to make TikTok songs now. Like they trying so hard, but that formula's been mastered.
I have a podcast that's called The Human Experience. That's HUEMAN Experience, Passion, and Action. And really, what we discuss is I just ask 7 questions that are conducive to people expressing themselves, so that you, the audience, the listeners, the individuals that get to interact with that person get to experience the compassion that resides within said person.
Women are so active and proactive about healing that's who I love talking to. They're transformative, they're powerful, they are seeking to be empowered, and those are the most exciting conversations for me. So that was just so kind of a natural unfolding that I would work with women.
Okay. What advice would you give those who do participate in competitions and they're like, this is for me, this is it, and you know, it's this was not like what? Can you kind of just talk in that vein a little bit?
Literally, for people that are out there and they really want it, and they're like, you know, they're going into every audition saying, I got it this time, I got it this time. Believe in God, first of all. God is the way, okay? He is guiding us, right? I want to do this, but your timing is all with God, right? That's the first thing, right? The second thing is work hard, work hard. You know what? Not even work hard. Work professional, work at a pace that you feel that you are inspiring people.
Would you please share a couple stories of what we can expect from the book? Just a couple little anecdotes that stick out, and you're like, guys, you wouldn't believe what happened.
Have really funny stories of where I tend to like sometimes not think before I talk. And it's so funny because I had a nun in the car and she was like, are you married? And I was like, no, are you? And she's like, I'm not married. I took a vow. So it's just like, I just have funny stories where I'm like, oh man.
Practicing your craft, whether you go to school for it or if you're self-taught, like myself, I still do not practice my craft. Like it's always, going to be some room for perfection. There's always going to be some room for learning. There's always going to be room for assisting. And when I say assisting, I don't mean being abused and assisting all the time and not being reciprocated for it. on not being paid for it. Everything is not a paid gig, but then there are some that you must, stand straight and stand firm and say, well, what's the budget? Will I be compensated, for this?
If murder was the case that they gave you, are you willing to stand in your truth of innocence? Welcome to Let Your Love Be Real talk show. I'm your host, Markia Butler, and this is season 2. Clap it up. Woo! We highlight amazing people like you with phenomenal stories. You don't want to miss an episode. Real life, real conversations, real love. Keep those eyes right here with Let Your Love Be Real talk show. Time you can never get back. To be black and falsely accused, not everyone knows how to survive young and behind bars. It takes a village and team of believers. And in this case, challenges, growth, and determination. We're going to dig a little deeper into beliefs and acceptance with a guy who was determined to be heard while incarcerated. Today we are introducing the incredible Tamar Evans, a gentleman full of charisma and thoughtfulness from Cleveland, Ohio, who survived 18 years of wrongful imprisonment, and he is now fighting to be exonerated. To share with us his story on everything he lost and gained, please welcome Tamar Evans.
How you doing? My name is Tamar Evans. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I was just recently released from prison from doing 18 years for a crime I didn't commit. I've been out for, I think, like almost 3 months now.
Okay, so I want to start off a little slower here. What is your dream? Like when you grow up, what do you want to be?
I want to be an advocate for troubled youth. I want to make sure that kids don't go through what I had to go through. So my dream would be to be able to save every child that's in poverty so they don't go through what I had to go through.
That is so wonderful. That's beautiful. The youth definitely need it in today. Okay, so what is one thing that you're grateful for today?
My freedom. Like we take it for granted every day because we used to having it. But like when it's snatched away from you, it make you look at life different. So just to be able to get up and do the small things, to go get in the tub. Like I just took my first bath like 4 weeks ago out of 18 years. It just felt crazy. But like to just get up and be able to go to a refrigerator, like to be able to move without restriction. So I'm definitely grateful for my freedom. It's a blessing.
Okay, so now tell us what happened in 2003. Break the story down for us a bit.
In 2003, I was with somebody that I called a brother, that I called a friend. And I'm not gonna sit here like I was perfect or that I was an angel, but I got caught up in the situation and it cost me 35 years. The situation was that I was walking with a guy, like I said, that I called a friend named Lamine, and we was talking. We walking as usual, like around the neighborhood, and he ended up robbing the guy. And in this process, he ended up killing him. So we end up, I run, and the situation, I never said nothing about it. Like I want to say a month go by. I know I was wrong for not saying nothing about it, but it was a lifestyle I was living that I was used to seeing stuff happen, but even if I wasn't a part of it. So uh, another situation occurred where we was riding down the street. He got into it with another guy, and he proceeded to shoot this guy, and I think he shot him in the leg. And in the process of trying to get away, he crashed. We ended up going to jail for it. They let me out on house arrest. They know I ain't had nothing to do with it, but they let me out on house arrest. I want to say like 2 weeks later, the police comes around my house. They snatch me on my house. They slam me on the ground. I don't have on no clothes other than just some jogging pants. They take me. into the interrogation room. They asked me questions. I proceeded to tell them for hours. I didn't do this. I didn't get no water. I didn't wasn't able to make a phone call to my family. None of that. They didn't tell me all my rights. They basically told me if I say I did it, I'll be able to go home. So in the midst of this, all of this, not unbeknownst to me, Lamine already had told these people that I had committed this crime. So for me to want to go home, me want to be a stand-up guy, not telling nobody and all that, I said what they wanted me to say, and I ended up getting 35 years because not only was me and Lamine there, there was another kid that was there that was a year or two younger than me. And right now, I'm looking at it that it was a blessing. He ended up getting killed on a bike 3 years ago. So if he would have went to prison like I went to prison, not saying it's a good thing, he'd still be alive. But I ended up getting 35 years for a crime I didn't commit.
So, what can you share about your mindset at that time at 16 years old and you having a friend that you called a friend frame you?
It's kind of devastating because I've learned over the years, and I didn't know then, but there's a thin line between being loyal and being a follower. Like me going out and saying I want to do something with you, and I'm doing it because I'm loyal to is different than me doing something because you throwing up stuff like, well, I did this with you or I did that with you. Like basically manipulated the situation. So I wasn't my own man. Even as a child, I wasn't my own man. I was a boy. I was following behind him because he asked me, rather than me doing it because I wanted to out of loyalty. So people got to know that there's a thin line between being loyal and being a follower.
So while incarcerated from 16 years old, what are some challenges that you faced?
That I face now or while I face incarcerated.
While incarcerated, what were some challenges that you faced?
When as going in as a child, you got to think at 16, you're still impressionable. So with that, you got to be careful who you surround yourself with because you become a part of your environment. So I had to stay away from the people that was homosexuals. Not that I have anything against them, but that was not something I was into. Stand away from people that smoke and drink, or that had you into stuff that had you in there longer than the time that you received at court. So I basically had to grow up in prison without becoming what prisons usually produce. Because they call it rehabilitation and correction, but there is no rehabilitation and correction if you don't take it amongst yourself to do it. Like it's nothing they make you do. They don't make you get out of bed. They don't teach you how to tie a tie. They don't teach you all that stuff. That stuff either you're gonna learn by yourself or you're gonna become a product of your environment. And it's crazy that they put you in jail as a child and they tell you they want you to do right. But they put you around murderers, robbers, rapists, and expect you to come out different. I'm blessed that I did come out different.
You are. And I do want to ask, okay, so because it takes a tremendous amount of focus, what kept you focused all these years?
Honestly, I played sports, but I was around good people who seen something in me because sometimes potential can be just left as that as potential. If you don't work for it to get where you looking to get, you become stagnant. So the thing was, I was always good in sports, and I was always very attentive. So I started picking up stuff, and I started emulating stuff from different people, and that's what kept me focused. Like, or if he did this to get that, if I do this to get that, I'm gonna get the same results if I do it my way. I might even get better results. So I was just emulating people. Like
Yeah,
I'm listening.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you emulate people
No. And that's what was keeping me focused. I seen stuff that even in that environment, that small microcosm of the world, I seen stuff that people had that I wanted, and I seen people obtaining their freedom, and they wasn't probably necessarily going about it the right way, but it got them out of prison.
that was going to be my next question. Like, what made you realize that you had to fight for your freedom and that no one else would?
Because it's crazy, like the stuff that people, whatever you comfortable with, whoever you care about, they're gonna be comfortable with it as well. They might speak on it, but you might speak on it, but they don't be they gonna be just as focused as you are. So my thing was like people that like you need a food box, they'd be focused on you just being comfortable in jail. So I had to learn like, no, I don't want to be comfortable here. So I stopped asking for food boxes. So I put me up a couple of dollars for my lawyer. I started mentioning my lawyer and stuff like that. I started mentioning my freedom. I basically, I don't know if you're familiar, but I started manifestation. I started speaking my freedom into existence.
What made you, or what was a turning point for you that made you believe that you can actually be free?
Is a some people in Ohio that stayed in East Cleveland. It's called the EC3, and they was all exonerated, all three of them. And these are people that slept by me, played basketball with me, went to the same child hall I went to, and they got their freedom, but they never gave up. And I was wondering, like, they always in the law library, they always was just always talking about their freedom. But I'm like, man, y'all got 40 years. I was just like everybody was like, man, y'all got 40 years. I got 35 years. Like, man, y'all ain't about to get out. I seen them in court, like, man, these dudes about to get out. They home. They here. They living. I mean, I didn't get completely exonerated. They played me a little bit, like, but that's how the system worked. But I'm home. I'm free.
So are you looking to be exonerated as well? Like, what does that journey
Yeah,
look like for you?
it's kind of hard because what they did was they made me take a plea agreement in court. What they did was they basically said they came and talked to me and they was like, listen, if you don't cop out, which means take a plea, like, we're gonna re-indict you and charge you with complicity. But the crazy thing is, as a child, complicity is not a bound over offense. And not only that, a person, not only did the actual shooter come forward and say, hey, I killed this man, while he was incarcerated, he told another person, like, yeah, I killed this man. I'm gonna have a juvenile take out. And that dude actually came and swore under oath and told him, like, yes, the man told me that he killed a man in 2003. I went and called the police in jail. They interviewed me. I told them what happened, and the prosecutors withheld that information. So if they would have gave up that information in 2003, I wouldn't even serve that time. The most they would have gave me was juvenile life, which is 5 years instead of 18 years. And I wouldn't have a adult record right now.
So who
So
helped you?
that's what I'm fighting.
Yeah, so
Uh,
turning point, like who was it that believed in you? Was it multiple people, or like what did it take for someone to step up and say, hey, I want to represent him?
it was multiple people, but one person, and she's still a good friend of mine. She helped me out a lot. Like, she took the time to help with rallies. She helped. She was on the news, because I was on the news twice about what was going on. But it was multiple people, but mostly it was myself. Like, if I didn't believe in me, nobody else would. Because I had a cousin sit down and tell me, and he said he apologized. I'm like, for what? He was like, because I'm like, man, you keep spending all that money on that lawyer. You got all that time, you ain't gonna get out. You might as well keep it until you come home. To 2038, I'll be 52. He told me to stop investing my money in my freedom. So if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And it wasn't easy, not even a little bit, not even a little bit, but I made it through. But it was a lot of people. But I had the pleasure of running into this lawyer named Kimberly Corral, amazing woman. And like, she took my case because another lawyer overcharged me, and she was like, "I'm not going to charge you that. You already paid this." And right now, she's one of the top lawyers. One of the top. She's a super lawyer of Ohio right now. Still a really good friend of mine. She check up on me all the time. So if it wasn't for her, I don't know. She pulled a lot of strings for me. She did her job.
Amen for someone doing their job. Thank you. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, no, I'm like, so that's so beautiful. Look, here I am. Okay, so serving 18 years of the guy who framed you, does he still reach out to you, or have you heard from him? And what is usually your response, and how does that make you feel?
What I learned over the years is grudges is self poisoning, because usually the person you're holding a grudge against, they usually don't care about it no more. It's like you stuck with it, so it's self poisoning. It's a burden on you. So he have reached out to me. He apologized to me for me serving that time, but at the same time, I told him that I appreciate the fact that he did come forward, because didn't have to. I could still be sitting in prison right now. But so I learned to let the grudges go. I forgave him. You know what they say, let go and forgive. Like you leave it up to God. So he still reach out, and I don't be on no butthole stuff or being ignorant. I speak, I be cordial, and that be the situation.
And that is so much maturity and growth on you. Oh my goodness. And so, how big of a part has your family played in this journey?
Family is what you choose to build. Other than that, they just relatives. So family, my family is the people that I made while I was in prison for real. It was people like that I met that they family like basically adopted me for real. Like it's just that I don't know, it's like the energy I give off. I'm always smiling. Even when I had 35 years, people ask me how I'm doing, like I'm blessed. I sometimes I hear people walk away like, man, that dude got 35 years. He talking about he blessed. But I am. Even though under the circumstances, I could have turned homosexual, I could have been raped, all type of stuff. Because when you bond over, as soon as you turn 18, they kick you into general population. Like they don't give you no guide, like, hey, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't take. No, they just throw you in population as soon as you turn 18. So on your birthday, that's what you're getting introduced to being in prison with adults.
So, what made you grasp towards knowledge? Like, did you do any studying while you were incarcerated? Like, yeah,
Self-help.
yeah.
Self-help. I read a lot of books, like self-help. I mean, ignorance, they say ignorance is bliss, like it's not an excuse for anything. So like when you don't know stuff, it's frowned upon, and I hate like when I don't know stuff. I ask. I'm inquisitive. I ask questions. What do this mean? I don't care. I might sound stupid at the moment, or it might be funny to you, but at the end of the day, I get the last laugh because after you tell me, I'm gonna go look it up myself, and now I might be able to tell you something about it. So sometimes, a lot of times, I get called a know-it-all, but I don't know everything. I'm still seeking knowledge.
That is so wonderful. You have so much to offer. And so I do want to go back to you. So you have a nonprofit that you're interested in doing. Could you please tell a little bit about that and what you're doing for the youth?
Right now, I'm working on a nonprofit called Growth Through Failure. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be an advocate for troubled youth. I want to speak, and not only do I want to speak, but I want to be able to show them. Because how many times have we been told to do something, but don't get shown how to do it? So right now, I just wanted to show them, like, I know I'm down to earth. I'm not no person that came from the suburbs and telling you some stuff that I just read in a book, or I experienced the same struggles you experienced, but I overcame it. You can too. So instead of just doing summer jobs, I want to do all year round jobs. Like what kid only struggling during the summer? Like when I was a kid, they used to have after school programs where they be having you play basketball, cheerleading, and all that stuff. That stuff is cool, but it's not productive and it's not lucrative. So when I start, I'm not gonna say if, when I start this program, I want to do after school programs to where you get compensated for learning stuff, how to build your credit, how to be an entrepreneur rather than an employee, like how to do banking, the stuff that they don't teach you in school.
That is so brilliant. We need people like you out here making a difference, especially with our youth. So, is there anyone you want to shout out at this moment? Is there anything else you would like to share? We are so thoroughly appreciative of you doing this interview with us. But is there anyone you want to be like, hey, y'all, what's up?
To whoever incarcerated, man, and you wrongly convicted or you going through some stuff, just know it's growth through failure. Build from that stuff. Take that time to grow, man. To don't be just sitting in there playing basketball all day or football or cards, because you would be sitting in there for a long time. Fight. So I just want to shout out to everybody that's incarcerated for real. Everybody else, y'all know who you are. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate too, Marquia, for even giving me this opportunity.
No, thank you. How can we find you? Because growth through failure, like how are we able to find you?
Right now, I'm working on updating my page, but my Instagram page right now is Growth Through Failure, all one word. That's how you can find me. I'm working it to make it more appropriate for children so they can reach out to me too as well. So I'm in a rebuild phase, not only on Instagram, but my life as well.
And so you've been out for how long now?
Almost 3 months.
And how has that journey been for you so far? Like, what have you done that's been like, oh man, I always want to do this? Like, what are some things that you've done?
I travel. It's a great feeling to just get up and go, to not have to answer nobody. I probably already been to like 5 states. It's just to be able to just, man, freedom is a blessing. We take it for granted because we born into it. I mean, to a certain extent, but when it's like again, like when it's taken away, like and that, just freedom. I've been enjoying it. Every day of it is a blessing. Even when I have bad days, it's still a blessing. Because my best day in jail, in prison, don't even compare to my worst day out here.
On that note, we are super excited to see your journey. We are so proud of you and your continued success. And thank you so much for chatting with us on Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. Thank you, Tamar. I'm Markia Butler. Have an amazing day. Tamar, I'm speechless. I've gained a lot from your testimony. Hopefully, everyone at home has as well. I recently overheard an elderly man say, "It's a myth that maturity grows with age for everyone. Some people choose not to grow." Now, Tamar is able to share his voice through his nonprofit, in which we know will be an impact to continue to raise awareness for so many youth, men, and women falsely accused and incarcerated. Everyone, go follow Tamar Evans at Growth Through Failure on Instagram to keep up with his journey as we change the lives of youth around the world and his road to being exonerated.